So discipleship is one of the things that really drove the whole reason I even got into campus ministry in the first place. And it's always played a really big part in my work on campus. And it's always changed quite a bit. So I started off at the beginning of my ministry with just one or two disciples, Nate and Megan. Eventually, Nate moved on. Megan hung with me for a couple more years. And my journey and my experimentation with discipleship was really just me and one person. And then Megan moved on, and there was a brief period of there where I just kind of prayed, God, you know, whatever you have for disciples, let me know. And then it didn't take very long before some disciples started coming in. And this last season, in fact, last year, we actually had 7 guys, all a part of what we would call in the Jewish world the Chavurah, the group of disciples that hung out. Now, discipleship for me, as you've read above, is really a very intentional process. It's about my disciples coming in and imitating as much of my life as they possibly can. So spending as much time by me, physically by me, with me, behind me, anywhere that I go, as much as I can, trying to include them in as much as possible. That's gotten difficult with my new job. It just can't happen the way that it used to in the days of, say, Megan. But we had 7 guys that would show up here for breakfast on every day in the weekdays if I was home. At 7 a.m. we would start the day with breakfast, and then we would all get together and do our disciplines. And God's taken all those disciples elsewhere, except for Kevin.
Hello.
Kevin's here. Now you notice Kevin is sitting at this desk with me, and part of what they would do when they come in is they do what I do. And so if I'm doing my disciplines, my spiritual practices, if I'm memorizing my text or writing out my passage for the day or any of those kind of things, they're doing the same thing. If I'm doing it, they're mimicking that. That's that discipleship role that I really learned about in Israel and Turkey and wanted to experiment with in campus ministry. It's been some of the most rewarding time that I've ever spent in the ministry. Not just campus ministry, but ministry in general. Some of the most rewarding work I've ever done comes in this work of discipleship. So yeah, Kevin's here and he's doing his disciplines, and he's working on those things, getting those things done for the day. Everything about what we do starts with pursuit and our pursuit of God. And so that's where we start. And then we take walks. In fact, Kevin and I just got back from our walk today, and I forgot to film some of that, but I'll film some of my walk with Tyler coming up next. Another big part of my discipleship stuff that I do is what I call discipleship walks. And I'm out here walking with Tyler. You've heard me talk about Tyler before.
Hey
there. And this was really something that I just kind of learned in the first few years of campus ministry. We had to walk to get onto Washington State University. At that point, I hadn't found a very good parking spot, and I had to walk about a mile and a half to get on a campus. So Megan and I would walk every morning, and I realized like my best work was happening. Our best work was happening in the conversations we were having as we were walking together. And I thought, golly, that's what Jesus did all the time. Maybe there's something to that. It's really not rocket science. I could be an idiot, but I still feel like some of the best stuff that I do happens on these walks. You'll notice if you're like, what is all that white stuff in the background? We walk all the time, don't we, Tyler?
Heck yeah, even when it's 9 degrees out.
That's right. No matter how cold, if it's super rainy, we might stay in. But I don't think I've stayed in over like 6 years. I might have stayed in on 2 walks. We walk all the time. Rain, snow, shine.
We're like the United States Postal Service.
That's right. That's right. Delivering spiritual formation. Oh man, my corny jokes ain't gonna get us very far. But yeah, it's a good opportunity to be able to walk and talk and work on personal and professional development. So out on another one of our discipleship walks here. This time I'm out with Kevin. One of the other nice things about our discipleship walks is it gives us opportunity to use the settings around us to teach lessons. In Impact, we call this mode. We're always trying to find ways to engage not just our minds and our hearts. One of the reasons why we walk instead of sit around a cup of coffee is we learn better that way. And so when we're on walks, I get the opportunity as a teacher to use what's around me to teach my disciples. And so here we are. Kevin, are you having fun?
It's so cold, Marty. So cold.
Jesus wants us to have fun in the cold, Kevin.
Why did he make it so cold?
No, we're just having fun today. But this is one of the great things about doing walks, is being able to do this. You know, Jesus walked around with his disciples all the time and used things that were around him to teach his lessons. And I still find that this is one of the most meaningful things I've ever done in ministry. More life change, more sustainable life change, more life transformation happens because of the stuff that we're able to do out here on these walks. And part of the reason I got into campus ministry was to do the same things that Jesus did. I mean, if Jesus walked around with guys and used their physical settings to teach them for 3 years, and it with 11 guys changed the course of human history. Part of my job as a campus minister and part of my job as the president of a campus ministry organization is to teach us to try to do some of the same things that Jesus did. And this has just proven to be some of the greatest things that I do with my life.